Hello, YouTube. Lovely to see your faces, even though I can't see your faces. All right. And as is typical, gotta get my shameless self-promotion out of the way. Oh, it's nice to be back on a regular schedule. This football season kicked my ass, man. Let's get the tools going. Right. Got a nice little rainstorm going on. Hopefully it'll keep it cool in there. There's noisy in my office. Alright, just about done with the shameless self-promotion. And stop over. Just about done here. All right, fantastic. All right, so as is usual, we are going to allow some time for some folks to join in, just a little bit of time. Take some time to put my hair up here. Happy Sunday, everybody. I know it's the first Sunday without football. That's a terrible tragedy for us all. But we're going to get through it. It's going to be fun. All right. There we go. Oh, happy Sunday indeed. All right. So, as you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to be working on something I don't usually work on, but at the request of a family friend, I will be doing it. So, it's a good chance for me to kind of branch out and explore some of the older consoles. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. We're going to hang out for a little while. give a few more minutes for some folks to join in here. We're gonna get some other consoles in place here. I actually have no customer jobs right now, so that's fantastic. I was able to clear the queue out. I do have another one coming in tonight, but that's a tonight problem, not a now problem. Get a little bit of hydration. I've already had 2 cups of coffee and a caffeinated Mio today, so I'm good on the caffeine. Gather my necessary tools. That will be necessary. Let's move out of the way. Trying to at least somewhat organize this desk. That's not needed. That can go in the trash pile. That I do need. The rest of this just needs to be somewhat organized. I can go over here. I live in a state of organized chaos. I know where everything is despite the chaos for the most part. This I need for the PS4. Haven't bothered to open it, of course, so why would I do that? An awful big box for what I ordered. I mean, it is what I ordered, I think. Just an extraordinarily large box to put it in. Yeah, that's what I ordered. Alright, well, we got that as well. Good news, all good things. Alright, that goes in the trash pile. Alright, just a couple more minutes and we will get started on things. I actually need to set up a few things here. Right. And of course not work the way it's supposed to. Deactivate. Woohoo! Alright, fix that problem. Alright. Actually, so it's just not pointed at something? Or? Oh, there we go. Awesome. Tremendous. Alright, just another couple minutes here. We'll allow a little more time for some people to get in, and we will get started from there. So, like I said from the title, you guys will see that I'm going to be working on a Nintendo 2DS, as well as a PS4 that has a strange display issue. I've seen it happen before, and it's rare that I've actually come across it, and I'm not 100% sure as to how to fix it. So we're going to try a few things. We're going to do some testing, we're going to do some diagnostics, and we're going to attempt to figure out what is causing this display issue. Like I said, the 2DS is not something that I typically work on, but it was a request from a friend of my family, and who am I to turn down a request from a friend of the family? And genuinely, I do enjoy like branching out and working on a couple things like this. I normally wouldn't do it like as a customer first basis, but this job I looked into is simple, so it's fine. It's just a quick charging port replacement. I just have to change the charging port and I'm going to check the battery for voltage and see if it's completely dead, like I think it is. And if it is, then we can let it charge up for a little bit while we work on the PS4, and then we'll go back and test it and make sure everything's working. I don't have a game to put in it. Actually, I may have a game to put in it. I'll have to see if the 3DS games work in there. I'm not a huge Nintendo guy, so I don't know a whole lot about it. But we gonna learn today. I'm just tidying up my work mat here. I've got solder balls all over the place, and that's just a dangerous situation. There we go. Just cleaning up some of that mess. Thermal paste. It's everywhere. It's like sand, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and get started. So, first things first, we have a Nintendo 2DS. So graciously sent in by John and JJ. Big shout outs to you guys. I appreciate it. It gives me a chance to stretch my skills out a little bit here. But this 2DS does not take charge. I don't know if the battery's dead. I don't know if there's anything else wrong with it. But I do know for a fact that the charging port is bad. And I know that because it's not plugged in at the moment. But if I take the charging cable and plug it in here, this thing is wobbly. It's so loose. And just comes in and out super easy. So yeah, that charging port is no good. So that's what we're going to work on first. Is we're going to get this baby apart. We're going to put a new charging port on it, and we're going to put it back together, and we're going to test it. We're also going to double check the battery voltage, because I did attempt to power it on, and there's just no power at all. So I'm assuming that probably means that the battery is dead, and it's going to take a little bit to charge up. But either way, let's go ahead and get down here. Alright. So, first things first, on these, there are two screws at the top. You got this screw right here, and then that one over there. So we're going to take those out first. Too big. Let's drop down a size on the Phillips head. There we go. That should suffice. No, still too big. Wow. We gotta go to the tiny one. There we go. Don't often use this one. Is that too small? That one's too small. There's a happy medium to be found here. There we go. That's the happy medium right there. Alright, so here we go. Alright. Screw is being difficult. Screw is being extraordinarily difficult. We're on step one of this supposedly easy job and it's already going haywire. Alright. Well, let's just unscrew them and maybe they'll come off with the top. Alright, so with those two off, this plate should just pop right out. There we go. Alright, so I mean it definitely needs a clean, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Alright, so here is the battery. Oh, sorry, now you can see it. Here is the battery. Got to be able to test the voltage here. So let's pop battery out. And let's throw it on the multimeter real quick. See what kind of voltage we're getting. Alright. So, multimeter in voltage mode. So, put the black probe on ground of the battery, and the red probe on the positive terminal. There is 4.1 volts inside. So, that actually should be turning on probably. We may run into a different problem entirely. Interesting. Alright, well, there is voltage inside the battery. And doesn't seem to be bulging or anything along those lines. Alright, well, this might be a more complicated repair than I thought. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The charging port still needs to be done. So we are going to take care of the charging port. Okay, so I'm going to remove these screws. Just clear a space here. Gotta move some chips out of the way. This way I know what I'm working with. Okay. Sorry about the buzzing, guys. My phone's going off, and my phone is also my camera here, so just have to deal with that for a moment, and I will get back to that person later. Right. Sorry, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing. So there are 4 screws on the bottom that I just removed. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to take out these screws on the side as well. All these screws around here. Okay, and the last one here. Alright, and with that, this back plate should just come right up. And it does, but there is a ribbon cable underneath here, so I need to be careful. There we go. Alright. So, now with this removed, you can see that there is indeed... Nope, stay where you are, please. Is that ribbon cable right there? So I do have to remove that. Right. Come in with my little spudger tool. And just gently lift up on this security tab right here. That will release the ribbon cable, and we can safely remove the back. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'm already seeing problems. Hopefully it's the kind that I can clear up with just some alcohol. Because otherwise I don't have replacement parts for these and I'm going to have to buy a board. Well, I'll show you guys in just a second here. This may be a shorter video on this than I anticipated. Okay, so before I get too far into tearing this thing down, I am still going to do the charging port swap because it needs to happen. However, there is a problem. Oh boy. Okay, so that would appear to be pretty significant liquid damage. I'm gonna have to get that cleared up and see if that will help. That's probably why it wasn't turned on even with the battery at full capacity. I'm assuming that's probably one of the main power rails. If I had to guess, that's probably what that is. So that's a rough one. But we're still going to try. Matter of fact, I'm going to try that now. Let me go ahead and grab my alcohol here, and we're going to give it a quick spritz. I don't think cleaning is going to take care of this. That's pretty significant corrosion. So I can't tell if that's a missing component or a test point. I do see a lot of other ones that look similar, so I'm going to assume it's a test point. I'm going to have to check the back of the board too on this. Alright, I mean, honestly that corrosion looks pretty well taken care of, which is surprising. I am going to pull up what that board looks like just to be 100% sure that it's not missing any component or anything. That corrosion cleaned up pretty well. You know what? Before we get super far into this, alright, yeah, let's do some checking on those caps real quick. I'm getting down a rabbit hole here, and it's probably not a great idea, but it is an idea. Alright, so I'm going to ground out here, and I'm going to come down here. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so this cap is blown. 100%. Okay, so this cap definitely needs to be replaced. Unfortunately, I don't know what that cap is. I have caps for days. I just don't know the value of that particular cap. Oh, this is an interesting one, for sure. So that cap definitely has to go, because that is bad. Okay. Well, I don't know if I can even get it to charge if that cap is blown, but we're going to see. Okay. Demi, what's up, my guy? Good to see you, brother. Yes, up and about. We're back to Sunday streaming now that football season's over. All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to... Actually, I don't know if I have... Yeah, I probably do. Okay. Alright, so I'm starting off by removing these upper buttons that have the spring attached. I'm just trying to be really careful because I don't want to lose the spring. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'll come over here just to give you guys a better idea. Yeah, I'm assuming it probably is the same, but I can't read it while it's in circuit on the board, though. Grid-like paper used for electronic... no, I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about, boss. Good to see you, though. Thanks for coming through. Yeah. That's probably going to be the deal. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to remove the gold screws that hold the board in place. Sorry, I know you guys can't see a whole lot of this. Let me try and get as good as angle as I possibly can for you here. Right. We gotta take out all these little gold screws, and then we're gonna remove all these little baby ribbon cables that Nintendo loves to use. Alright, so screws are removed almost. Got one missing over here. There we go. I think that's all of them. Seems to be all of them. Awesome. Alright, so now we're going to start removing some ribbon cables here. We're going to start with these two big boys. come in with my little spudger tool and just lift up on the security tab. There we go. Same thing over here. Just like that. And we're gonna gingerly slide. Just like that. Alright, and we got some little baby ribbon cables down here. Gonna very carefully remove those. There we go. And this one does not appear to have a locking tab. Could be wrong about that. Let's get a little closer look at that one. Is that a weird kind of locking tab? I want to just yank it. Not familiar with this design. I feel like it should probably just slide out, but I could be wrong, and I don't want to break it. Interesting. I have not run into one of these before. I feel like it should just slide out. I am correct. It just slides out. Okay. There we go. Alright, so I've got those 3 ribbon cables. And I got this one up here. Which again, based on our previous discovery, is just slide out. You do have to turn it to make some room. Come in here with the wider pinchy ones. Even those don't want to work. Alright, we're going to use the pointy slidey ones. These are very technical terms I'm using. Gotta be careful not to tear the ribbon cables on these. Become free. I demand it. Well, this one's being extraordinarily stubborn, which means it's going to be a pain in the butt to get back in. Can I just gently coerce you to remove yourself? You're so close. Don't do this to me. And the ribbon cable's damaged. Damn it, now I'm going to have to replace that. Alright, well, since it's already damaged, we're just going to go ahead and force it out. Okay, well that ribbon cable's damaged, so I'm going to have to buy a new joystick adapter. But that's one of the dangers, yep, see that? Hey JJ, good to see you, buddy. Alright, so I am now going to have to buy a replacement joystick assembly right here because of that ribbon cable. But that's not a problem. I'm happy to do it. This is all just a project anyway. So don't worry, JJ. We're going to make it happen. However, this thing has some problems. So nah, not even close to rip. Not even close, my friend. Alright, so with that being done, we should just be able to lift up. Okay. Oh, I'm missing 2 screws. Hold on. No, definitely not rip, bud. I do have to get a replacement part for it, but not rip by a long shot. Let's just focus on getting it powered back up, and we'll go from there. Okay, there we go. All right, and with that, we have the board free. Boop. Alright, let's move the main chassis out of here. Okay, so what we're going for is this charging port right here. So let's get a little closer look at it here and see if we can see what's going on. Alright, so at first glance it doesn't look terrible. You can see that the port has started to split at the bottom there, just ever so slightly. And it does look like the plug port, yeah, okay, there it is. You can see the plug portion right there where it connects to those gold teeth is kind of like mushed and it's kind of smushed together a bit. And my understanding of these is it's not supposed to look like that. So I do have a replacement, so we can do an examination real quick. So, just to do an examination, this is the correct one. Yeah, you see how that whole inner part right there is completely smushed down on that one, whereas this one is fully secured. There's no separation at the bottom right here where the little joints come together for the charging port. So 100% that port needs to be changed regardless. So let's go ahead and get the old port off. And then we're going to have to try and replace that cap. Alright, so for this charging port, we're going to flip the board, and you'll see the solder joints here on the back. So I think what I'm going to try to do, rather than heating this up, is I'm going to try and just wick away the solder. It is a lot of solder to try and do it to, but this is also a very thin board. So I'm going to try it. So the first thing we'll do is add our flux. grab our soldering iron. Yep. And gotta get some weight on this board so it's not moving on me while I'm trying to do surgery. There we go. Alright. So come in here, heat up that soldering point, and we're going to put some leaded solder on there. So the leaded solder is going to mix in with the unleaded solder. Unleaded solder has a much higher melting point than leaded. So if I can get these two to mix together, it'll be way easier to wick up. There we go. And you can see just by heating that one area on the board. I think I pushed the port out. I did. I pushed the port out. Well, the hot air was definitely not necessary here. So I'm going to continue and just get some more extra. Hey Chris, good to see you, my friend. So far, not the best, but we continue on. There we go. Get all that in there. All right. I'm gonna see. Yep, there we go. Port just fell out. No need to even, no need to hot air it at all. That port is gone. Here's the port. Alright, let's clean this up a little bit. Get some, that's a hot port. Alright, so I'm just cleaning up some of the old flux on there because I am going to come in here and wick away the old solder. And then we'll put the new port on, we'll solder it in, and we'll get to work on that cap. I also need to check the back of this board because there is more corrosion than I'm seeing, so I need to check everything. But one problem at a time. Alright, so put a little bit of fresh flux on there. Come in here, just try and suck up that solder that's in that hole there. There you go. Turns all nice and shiny. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, same thing. Boom. Gorgeous. There we go. Alright, and last one. Look at that. Look at that solder work just slurping up the solder. Beautiful. Beautiful thing. Alright. And are we clear? Hang on. Can't tell if that's flux. Yep, that's flux. Same thing here. Flux. Awesome. Tremendous. Alright. Let's go ahead and pop the new port into place. Right. Okay. So the new port's gonna go. Oh, did they not give me the right ports? You gotta be kidding me right now. Hang on. Oh, these sons of guns. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to try and do surgery to this port. So, boy, this just gets better and better. Alright, so, you'll see here that the port has two contacts. These two little silver contacts right here. On the regular port, the port that I just pulled off, the gold pins at the bottom that solder onto those are bent. See it a little better here. So you can see that there's a bend in those gold pins. On these replacements that I got, there is no bend. They are straight as an arrow. So I have to try and create a bend without breaking it. Alright. Let's see how I can do this. Oh boy, this is an interesting job. Just need enough of a bend. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can smooth it out once I get the actual port on there, but I need it to have some bend in order to even get into place. There you go, baby. Come on. Alright. Alright, I think that should do it. Let's see. We'll go into place. Kinda. Gotta still make a couple of adjustments here. Hang on. So, I think the problem that I'm running into, other than these being bad ports, is that these terminals I think they're a bit too long, is the problem. Sorry, I know you guys can't see a whole lot of what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to figure out if this is... if I have to trim these up a little bit. I don't think I'll need to. I think if I can just solder in one of the legs, I should be able to make that work. Yeah, let me try and do that. Let me just get a little solder on one of these back legs so it'll stay in place, and I think we should be okay. Alright. Flux down. Oh, this turned into an interesting one. I thought this was going to be pretty straightforward. And I was wrong. But I like being wrong. to get this other leg in here as well. Alright, so that's in place now. So I think what I can do is I'm going to push these gold pins back toward the contacts. I know it's making contact right now, but it's bothering me that it's not like seated properly. So I'm going to try and push those gold pins back just a little bit more towards the contact. I think with that residual flux there, I should be able to get the connection soldered down. Get a little closer in there and just make sure it's actually bonded with the contacts. It's a little hard to tell, so let's try and clean it up a little bit. There we go. That's for sure connected now. There we go. Okay. So those are making good contact now. Right, and let's go ahead and flip the board over and finish our soldering in place, and then we can work on that cap. Give it a clean up too, just get rid of some of that flux. Right, and let's just double check to make sure the port's sitting flat and level, which it seems to be. Alright, awesome. So that's problem number one. Port is now replaced, and we'll test that in just a second here and make sure that it's not wobbling and weebling like the other one was. So this part of the job was absolutely necessary. It had to be done. However, there is now that other problem that needs to be taken care of. Let me just clean this up some. Alright. And come around to the other side, do the same thing. Go. I'm not worried about the water damage sticker because I already know this had water damage. So I'm just gonna finish tidying that up a little bit. Those contacts look good. Alright, so on the back, while I was looking around, I did find areas of corrosion, though nothing touching an actual component. So you can see here, right there, all areas of liquid damage. So we are going to clean that up, even though it's not touching any component. I don't like to have the corrosion on the board. So, come in there. Just give it a nice toothbrush scrub. Q-tip. Squeaky clean it up real quick. Try to get rid of as much of that corrosion as possible. Alright, and that already looks a million times better. That corrosion is gone. I'll be interested, maybe that the cap is connecting with one of those that had corrosion on it, and maybe the cap itself is not blown, though I'm almost positive that cap is blown. So, but let's take a look. So, where were we? Where was that corrosion? Down here, okay. So, this is the area that had the water damage, the liquid damage to it. Right here. And you can see a lot of those components look a little rough. But the only one I'm actually finding an issue with is this one right here. The rest of them, even though they look bad, they seem to be functioning. I don't know about this one. I don't know about that little... is it a MOSFET? I mean, it could be a tiny MOSFET, I suppose. Let's get in there and check on this a little bit. So, I mean, it doesn't look the best. That's rough. But I mean, it does look like the actual connections are still good. Oh, that's kind of rusted actually. Yeah, I don't want to scrape too much here. Yeah, I can't just push it off, you know what I mean? So the connections seem to be at least somewhat good still. But, like I was saying, this capacitor is the only one that's showing a short on that line. So I'm going to come in here and clean it up a little bit more. I'll let the alcohol sit there for a second. I'm going to really let it soak in. I'm really going to douse it up. Just let it sit for a second, kind of start to break down a little bit of that corrosion area. But I feel like I might have to get a replacement board on this because I'm not 100% sure on that. This little, I'm going to call it a MOSFET because it looks like a small MOSFET. So I'm not 100% on that little MOSFET right there. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I feel like I really should replace that whole rail. Yeah, because that chip right there is bothering the heck out of me. Just trying to remove any of the extra like mess or corrosion, anything I can off of these components, so I can get an actual look at what I'm working with here. It's at least a little bit better. All right, so yeah, I mean, realistically, I should just replace that whole rail. Because even though that cap is, like, that chip is not good. I can even see, yeah, you can actually see the solder joints are gone on it. Look, you can see on this side. There's at least still some, like, connection to it, at least a little bit. But this other side looks rough. Yeah. Let's see if cleaning out that corrosion did anything as far as that one cap that I know is bad. Where'd it go? Where am I? There we go. Alright, so it's this left cap that is for sure bad. Or it was. Nope. Let's put it in continuity mode. Alright, so this should be ground. Yeah. Yeah, that one's fine. That one's fine. That does not appear to be a cap. What is that, a resistor? Fuse? Oh, it's gone is what it is. Yeah, this whole rail is going to need to be replaced. Okay. Alright, well, JJ, I apologize that I can't do it now for you, but I am going to get this fixed. I just have to get a replacement board and get all the components for this area here. So, I'm going to order a donor board that I can use for parts, and this whole area right here is going to get replaced. We're going to replace this component, all three of these caps, this little component that was there that is no longer. We're going to tidy everything up. We're going to restore the connections. It's going to be a whole thing. So that's going to have to be its own video once I get the replacement board. So I apologize that I couldn't do it today for you, but we're going to come back to it, and we're going to we're gonna get it working. I'm dedicated to this. I'm interested now. I thought this was just going to be a nice little, a nice easy charging port replacement and get it on your way back, but this has turned into far more of a job. So, my apologies again, JJ, but we are going to test this display port or charging port real quick while I get it apart. I'm not going to put it back together right now because that, and I have to order the replacement ribbon cable anyway. So But we are going to test this charging port and just make sure we're in a way better spot than we were. So we're going to come in here on the board. There we go. And as you can see, no wiggle. Very little movement. So that's what we want to see. Alright, awesome. But I will be sure to have Amanda let you guys know when all the parts come in and when the next one's going to be streamed. I'm going to try and get it by this next coming weekend. It just depends on where I can find the parts. But we are going to get this done. I have faith. Alright, in the meanwhile, set this off to the side here to make sure it doesn't get lost. Alright, in the meanwhile, let's move on to our next console of the day, which is a strange issue. So, I have this PS4 Fat. This was brought to me by a customer for an HDMI port replacement. Easy enough job. I replaced the port, and I noticed that it wasn't working properly. Like it wasn't. It was kind of glitching out, and I thought maybe I screwed something up with the HDMI port. So I redid it. I put a new port on. I'm having the same issue. Yeah, exactly. Big fat. So what happens is I can turn it into safe mode, and I can change the resolution to like 720, maybe a little 640, something like that, and get it under there, and it displays just fine. If I try to put it to 1080 at all, full static. Absolute static. So what I did was I ended up giving the customer a different console, got all of his information transferred onto it and all that, and I kept his because he had already paid me for the job. So I kept his, and I'm going to try and get it working. I don't know. I don't think it's the HDMI port. I've checked everything on that port. Everything seems fine. So what I think it is either the filters on the back of the HDMI system or the HDMI chip itself. So we're going to take it apart. We're going to check the filters. We're going to check my port. And worst case scenario, I bought a new HDMI chip, and we're going to put that on there and see if that fixes the problem as well. Alright, so let's start getting this torn apart here. Let's bring you guys back over. Alright, so I have this backwards. First things first, this part just slides right off. Alright, there's normally a screw right here that holds the hard drive. I have not been back in because I've been testing. It is just a standard 500 gigabyte hard drive, Samsung, nothing special about it. Alright. And there's two screws here. There we go, there's one. And two. And once those two screws are gone, usually just lift up from either the side or the back. I always forget which one's easiest. I think the side is usually easier. Oh. You do also have to take these four on the back off, of course. That does help. Alright. So, with those now off, we can go ahead and pop this off the back. Just a bit anyway. There we go. Alright. And I'll come in with my spudger tool over here. Just kind of slide my way down. Go. They did make these things difficult to get apart, I'll tell you that much. At least this one particular area, anyway. And I don't understand why. There we go. Oh, why that thing's always so difficult for me. Anyway, alright, here we are. Is it front to back? I've never really gotten it down. I don't work on a whole lot of PS4s, so it's one of those that I don't get a lot of practice with. I mean, PS5 I can tear it down up, down, left, right, sideways, but the PS4 I haven't gotten a whole lot of practice with. So front to back is the way to go. You got to front to back it. Got it. All right. Yep, I'm already dropping shit. There we go. All right, taking off the APU clamp over here. Remove yourself. Thank you kindly. Okay. I do have to get the bottom out so I can get the... There we go. Because it does have the power supply screws and everything that hold it together there. Go. Okay. So, we're going to take this apart a little bit. Shouldn't have to do too much. Alright, so I do have to take out these screws for the power supply. So 1, 2, 3 silver screws for the power supply, along with the 2 Phillips head ones. Okay. And 2 Phillips heads that screw in down here. Okay, that's one. And there's 2. Wow. Stole the APU off the board. Why would you steal the APU off a Blue Light of Death console? That's a special kind right there. Go. Alright, power supply removed. Right, and disconnect the disk drive. And we're going to pop the Wi-Fi cable off. That should be all I need on this side of the board. Oh no, we got the disk drive ribbon cable as well. Okay, there we go. Alright, so with those things undone, I should be able to just remove these screws, take the plate off, and get the board out. That's crazy, dude. I've been lucky so far in that the customers that I've worked with have all been super understanding about, the process and how long things take and, all that stuff. I haven't had a whole lot of customer complaints. There have been some times where, the HDMI port lifted off the board because I forgot to heat up the ground legs or something like that. And of course, I take care of customers every time. That's anytime it's something that I either overlooked or didn't do properly. That's a no charge fix, easy. I've been really lucky with a lot of my customers so far. They have been fantastic. Alright, I believe that should be enough to pop the plate. Boop. Right. Disconnect fan. Yeah, especially 2 years after the fact. Like, really, bruh? Okay, there we go. Alright, awesome. That went nice and smooth. Love to see it. Okay. So, the first thing we'll do is we're going to check out the HDMI port that I put on. Now, to remind you, I did this twice and double-checked my work twice. And it works just fine on lower resolution. So I'm assuming it's got to be the filter or the chip. But we're going to double check my work just to be 100% sure. Because while I trust my work, I trust but verify my work. Alright, so going into microscope mode. Okay, so that is the solder work on the HDMI port. That's a pretty solid job in my opinion, if I do say so myself. Giving myself the little toot toot of the horn here. So, I'm going to come back and I'm going to double check my pins, make sure everything's connected properly. Good. 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 Alright, my tweezers are getting out of place here. Oh, let's not break anything. Good. 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 And and good. Okay. So those pins are all fully soldered, beautifully soldered, if I can say so myself. So there's no reason that the HDMI port itself would be causing any display issues on higher resolutions. So, just to double check the inside of the port as well, because we double check all the work here. So, inside of the port is beautiful. There's no caked on flux. You can see a little bit right there. There's a little bit of caked on flux. But nothing that should be causing an issue with the resolution. So, I have come to the realization that it has to be either the filters or the HDMI chip. That's where I'm at with it. So, that is located under this metal filter right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down a little bit of flux. We're going to remove this metal shielding. And we're going to test some filters. And I think there's one more solder point on this side. Two more maybe. Yeah, you got one right there and one right there. And a bit of there we go. Okay. Alright. That being the case, we're going to go ahead and hot air. Let it get nice and warm. All right. So I'm gonna warm up the board a little bit first. And this board is a little bit off balance because it's sitting on the power connector. It bothers me some. Here, let me turn the board around real quick. I don't like working backwards, but it'll have to do. Hang on. Get you guys situated again. No, not the best situated. No. Alright. Well, situated-ish. Alright, here we go. Heat up the area around where the solder joints are located. And we're not pulling up. We're just putting up a gentle pressure. So if we pull up and yank it, then we break it, and that's not what we want to do. Letting it get nice and warm until the solder that's holding. Am I close? Oh no, I'm good on the battery. Thank you though, brother. I appreciate it. Oh, you had me concerned for a second there. Again, just gentle upward pressure. Well, HDMI port's falling out. That's fine. Alright, there we go. Well, that's interesting. Alright, so first things first, I do have to try and pinch that HDMI port back where it goes, so hang on a second. Alright, there we go. Yeah, eventually I have to. Luckily, the actual tip of the pliers is up. It's just the weighted portion that's sitting on a empty portion of the board. So, it's not a huge deal. However, what is interesting is when I just pulled this off, and I don't know if it's an actual huge deal or not, but when I pulled this off, I don't know if it's burnt flux or what it is, but look at that. Now, could that be burnt flux? Maybe. No, I don't think so. That's scraping off. That's interesting. Now, to be fair, like I said, I don't work on a lot of these, so I don't know what could cause that. It could just be flux, for all I know. However, we're going to move that off to the side. That is interesting. And we're going to come to the area that I need to work in. Alright, so first thing I'm going to check is these filters. Clean them up a little bit. All right. Is that flux stuck between that, or? Alright, I'm not the only one seeing that, right? Is that just flux stuck between those filters, or is that blown filter? That's not skinny enough. Hang on. This might be skinny enough. Could be flux. Oh yeah, that's just flux. Okay. Alright, good. Whew. Okay, so, filters. We're gonna put the multimeter into continuity mode. Alright. So, I should have connection from this side of the filter to this side of the filter, but not this side of the filter. I do not. Same thing here. Alright. Go there. Okay, good. To the other side. No crosstalk. Oh, hello. Oh. Hello, bad filter. Maybe not. I think I might have a just bad connection. Hang on. No. Yeah, that filter is not... there's no continuity between it. There is on this side. I'm trying to feel around if there's like anything I'm missing, but it does not appear to be. That one's good. Yeah. So this one right here, no matter where I try to put it, does not have continuity. Now I know there is an ohms reading on these, and I don't remember exactly what it is. Yeah, let me put this into view here. So, can't seem to locate the ohms reading on this. I know it's supposed to have... It's either not supposed to have, or it's supposed to have an ohms reading. I am getting no ohms reading. Oh, there we go. Now I've got something. Got 2 mega ohms. 2 mega ohms there, 2 mega ohms there, 2 mega ohms there. .7 mega ohms. Oh no, there it goes. 2 mega ohms there. 1.8 there. 1.87 there. But on this one, this little side right here, I have 0. So that filter is blown. Alright. I believe, at least I hope, that the slim board uses the same type of filters. I might be wrong about that though, now that I'm looking at it. Man, I might not be able to fix a damn thing. Hang on. Let's see here. Yeah, those are not the same. I don't think those will fit. I could try. But size-wise, I don't think they're right. I mean, I can give it a shot. It's got to come off anyway. I don't think I have a PS4 fat board on hand. Alright. Let's try it. Hell, what am I going to lose? Let's put the flux down. Beep. 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 Alright, filter removed. Let that solder cool down a little bit. Come in here. Cotton swab just to clean up some of that flux, and then I want to try and get a reading on the contact point itself. So this one, sorry, got them backwards. Perhaps not bad filter. Let me reset my multimeter real quick. Alright, so here on these back ones, got 1.97 and climbing because of the heat, so that's probably going to get up to that 2.1 mega ohms that we were at before. And same thing here, 1.99 climbing. But here, I'm at OL. And I should not be at OL. Because over here, I am not at OL. And over here, I am not at OL. And over here, I'm not at OL. And even here, I'm not at OL. These two are OL. What could cause these two portions to fail? Let's do some other testing around some caps just to make sure. I doubt that's the problem. This is all input side. Oh. Yeah, these caps are fine. Alright, so these lead onto the back of the board. These little vias right here. Let's get a little bit closer. I have to back the board up some. Alright, so yeah, so these trace to these two vias right here, which then go to the back of the board somewhere. So let's see if we can try and track that down. I'm assuming it's probably going to be the HDMI port. So we got right here. Gonna move this around. Yeah, those vias lead directly to the HDMI port. So, it's not the filter that's bad, because the filter is not giving me a reading, or the area where the filter was is not giving me a reading. Do we actually have communication? We do not. We do not have communication at all on this circuit. And just to show you what I mean, I have continuity, right? Man, I really hope my multimeter is not failing. Yeah. So when we have communication, it should beep like that. I have beeps along the entirety of these filters, including this one. I don't know why it's not wanting to do it now, but I had it before. But now this one doesn't want to do it either. There we go. Yeah, okay. So that's how it's supposed to do it. However, there is no communication here to here. So, what does that tell me? It tells me that the filter isn't bad, which means I should be able to replace that filter. So I'm going to make sure I don't lose that. And possibly the chip itself is bad? Well, no, the filter can't be bad because, well, that's not true. The filter can still be bad, but after taking the filter off, there's still no communication. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Right, because there's nothing for it to run through. I see what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense. Dot makes sense. Well, let's see if the PS4 Slim filter will work on a PS4 Fat. We're going to do some experimenting today, guys. I do not know if this is going to work. I feel like it may not, but we're going to try. Alright, well, we'll take one off the same bay, even though I don't think that matters. But we'll take it off the same bay. Right. Filter did not want to remove itself. Alright. Yeah, I know it's just a coil of wire, but my concern is the size. I think it's the one on the Slim is actually smaller than the one on the Fat. But I mean, as long as it's making a connection, it really should be okay. So, that being said, get this in a usable position here. Alright. Alright, so that being the case, tin up those solder joints real quick, just to make sure it will accept it. Well, it will accept it easier anyway. Okay, there we go. Right. And grab tweezers. And check fitment. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, it's too small, I think. Oh, maybe. I mean, if we can make it bond, it looks like it might have enough to do it. I mean, it's going to be the tightest of fittings, but I think we can make it work. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah, once I get it pushed down into place, because the solder on the top portion there is raised a little bit. But once I get it just into place, I'll go around and tighten up the edges. I'll be very interested to see if this works. I mean, it looked like it bonded pretty well. I'm still going to tighten it up a little bit, but it looked like it did okay. I mean, just for shits and giggles, let's see if we have communication at all. Hey, look at that. We got communication. Alright, now can it handle it, is the question. Alright, I'm still going to go ahead and tighten it up just a little bit, put a little extra solder on the back. But there is communication. Right. Alright, so now with the new filter in place, I'm going to go ahead and replace the solder that's on the shield. There we go. Alright, since there's already flux there, I'm just going to kind of line it up and let the hot air do the rest. Notice it is slightly off center. There we go. Okay, should be just enough in place for me to test. I don't want to, well, I mean, I kind of do want it to at least stay a little bit in place. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, just enough for me to test it. Alright, and I am going to double check the HDMI port because it did come loose on me, so definitely want to check and make sure everything's still lined up. Everything does appear to be lined up just fine. Just give a couple quick nudges and make sure nothing's come loose or anything, but I'm pretty sure we're good. Oh, no, we're not. See? This is why we check. Alright, so I'm just going to run some solder over those legs. This is why we check. Fine. I am going to clean this up. I'm just using the drag method for simplicity purposes. Alright. And we'll come in with some solder wick. Just suck up some of that extra. Go. Continue cleaning the iron as we go. Put a little extra flux down just to help that solder keep moving. And same thing again. Come in. Just going to do a quick inspection, make sure I'm not missing any bridges or anything. Nope, there is a bridge. I see a couple of them. That's why we check. There we go. Didn't want to cooperate there for a moment, but we got it. All right. Alright, and again, double checking our work. Oh, nope. Alright, that one's good. That one's good. 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 Alright, so pin 19, is that 19? Is that 1? I always forget these. I think it's 1. I think PS4 is backwards. But yeah, so either 1 or 19 needs a touch up, so we're going to touch it up. Just come in here with just the tiniest little bloop. And put the tiniest little bloop of solder onto the iron. And we're just going to come in here and fine. Tidy that up. Alright, I'm going to have to solder wicket. So I don't like doing the individual method. I prefer to use the drop method. Oh, this is becoming a pain. I had it so good before. More flux. Why did you have to fall out? I suppose I could just reflow it, but... Okay, let's try this again. Alright, so. Okay, thought that might work, it did not. Yep, that thing is still not attached. Jesus. It's giving me the agita. You know what? I think I'm just going to refill the port to make my life easier. I think that's probably the way I'm going to do it. Hold a moment. I'm not going to sit here and fight with this thing. Nope, not going to do that. All right. Okay. Everything wants to play games today. I'm fine with playing games. No problem playing games. Let's flip the board back around. Alright. Those look way better. Alright. Okay, so now that the port is resecure, we're just going to put it back together enough to test it. Go. Alright. Alright, and I do mean we are just putting it together the bare minimum enough to test it and see if we can get full resolution. Fine. Right. Hard drive goes in. Flip it around. Alright, so when I boot it up, it should go to like, I think I have it at like 480 or something like that, some ridiculous low resolution. I did that just to make sure I could transfer the customer's information, all his save data and everything. So I'm assuming when I boot it, it's just going to go direct to that low res, which is fine as long as I can change it. Alright, so it should be together enough to test. Alright. Let's see, shall we? Hang on. Let me... there we go. Need to gather some supplies here. Bear with me a moment. Alright. Okay, so let's see what we got, huh? Make sure you guys can see. No, you're not going to see anything right now. I'm just getting you guys over to the monitor here. Okay. So, you can see that we are, this is low res. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it, but it's low resolution, 100%. we're gonna wipe this hard drive anyway, so not a big deal. Alright, so we are in low res mode as we speak. And we're gonna go to sound and screen, video output settings. Yeah, so I'm in 480p right now. So what I'm going to attempt to do is switch to 1080p. Last time I did this, I either got nothing or I got a static screen. So let's see what happens. Oh, full 1080p, baby! Let's go! Beautiful. So it really was just that bad filter. Oh man, that's rough. Hell yeah. That's big dubs, baby. Alright, so number one, we know that the PS4 Slim filters will work on a PS4 Fat. That's tremendous. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Alright, so now, let's see if we can shut it down and restart it in 1080p. Let's go ahead and restart. Alright, yeah, that booted right up. So it was just that filter. Yeah, no nothing. Just full 1080p. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Yep, 1080p. Awesome. That is a win. We're going to shut that baby down. All right. That's huge. Hell yeah. Oh, let's get you zoomed out. You don't see that much of my face. Hell yeah. That's awesome. All right. Got full shutdown. That is tremendous. All right. I think I'm going to end it here on a victory. I do have other consoles to work on, but I think for right now we're just going to end it. I'm going to order the board I need for the 2DS as well as the joystick, and we're going to go on from there. But we're ending with a victory, and that's positive. That is absolutely amazing. All right. So that being said, love you guys dearly. Thank you for coming out and hanging out on a Sunday, and we'll pick it up next Sunday. Hopefully, I'll have the 2DS board available so we can get that fixed. We'll replace that whole rail down there along with the joystick and get that worked out. And I still have the Xbox One X that I need to fix the display on, as well as the Xbox Series X that I need to fix the display on. So I still have other ones to work on. But we take those wins. We take those wins. Danny, I appreciate it, brother. Nathan, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's always good to see you guys. And I'll be back next Sunday, probably around this same time. We're going to do it all over again, baby. Big wins. Let's go. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Love y'all dearly. Thank you so much. Chris, appreciate you as well. I missed you on the end there, but I appreciate you. All right.